Hello, this is Audrey Sussman from the Anxiety Control Center, and today I'm going to be talking about what to do when you're beating yourself up with negative thinking. This is a new technique that I've added to my repertoire. I had a client who I just spoke to today, and her major complaint was, she's going on a trip, which most of us would be very excited about. She's going away for 10 days. She's leaving in a couple of days, and yet she was beating herself up because she's not feeling excitement. She's feeling like, oh, well, it's almost like a chore to go on this trip. So she was kind of giving herself a lot of negative feelings about what's wrong with me that I don't feel differently. And she also noted that she's feeling very loss of energy, almost feeling weary. And basically, and there's a number of things she's not happy with in her life, but she called mostly particularly right now, because of this trip coming up. And the technique that we came up with that I think would be helpful for anyone is a technique where you notice, so the step one is if you notice yourself feeling negative or saying things to yourself that are kind of tearing yourself down, making you feel like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not feeling a different way? Or why am I feeling like this? This is the technique. This is the tool. The first step is just identify the feelings you're having. Are you comparing yourself to others? Are you feeling like there's something wrong with you? Are you feeling tired? Whatever you're feeling, you're just going to be noticing and taking out a piece of paper and writing down whatever the feelings are. If you're telling yourself things like, why don't I do this differently? Or why haven't I done something? Write those things down, those self-blaming kind of things. So the first step is identifying what's going on, the feelings, the thoughts. The second step is called the letting go step. The letting go step starts with acceptance, but then we're going to have a few steps under acceptance. So what do I mean by acceptance? Acceptance of where you are. Not acceptance like, oh, this is never going to change, but acceptance of, okay, this is where I am. This is what I'm feeling. And another thing you can use if you're having trouble with acceptance, I'll call this a letting go of self-blame. Imagine that you're sitting in a river, if you like water, sitting in a river, and the water is flowing through. And as the water flows through your body, it's taking with it all of that negative self-blame. So you're just allowing yourself, and you could just imagine doing that even right now, sitting in the river, allowing the water to just let go. So you're letting all this emotion, maybe it's coming out of your feet, maybe the negative feelings are coming out of the tips of your fingers into the water, and it's just taken away. And then and you could do this for anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes. As you get good at it, you could probably do it within a few seconds and have the feeling of this almost like a space now. And then the third part is the action step, is where you want to fill yourself back up with a positive feeling. So the positive feeling, the way we create that is, think in your life about someone who loves or adores or accepts you just the way you are. It could have been way back in your childhood. It could be one little tiny memory of where you just felt adored. It could be an animal that you knew just loved you totally. And you want to create just one little snapshot, one little image of that person or the animal looking at you with the eyes of love. And letting yourself, as you pick that moment, letting you feel that connection of being loved. And you're going to let that feeling suffuse your body. So you're adding this new feeling. So the 3 steps are identify the feeling, acceptance, and letting go. Acceptance means compassion. It's like, I wish you not to suffer. If there was someone that you knew who was suffering like you are, you would send compassion, which is, I wish you not to suffer. I wish your life to be lighter. So you're sending compassion to you. You can also send compassion to the younger you, the person who was a little kid, who needed somebody to just adore them, to care about them, to accept them. So you're sending compassion, I wish you not to hurt, to the younger you as well. And then the third step is filling yourself up. This is an action step with the feeling that you get when you think about someone who is adored and loved and cherishes you. And it could have been someone way from your past, or as I say, an animal, that you just felt loved, and you're letting that feeling fill you. And the reason we're doing this is because it's going to create a new neural pathway. And the brain is actually, in neuroscience, as the brain has plasticity, meaning that it can be changed. So we're changing the pathway. So this is just a quick, simple step that you can take with yourself when you feel you're doing self-blame. So this is Audrey Sussman from the Anxiety Control Center. And I'll look forward to comments that you might have. Send them to anxietycontrol@gmail.com.